Good morning, everyone. This is Andi. I'm in Arizona this morning, which has caused some issues trying to get the sunlight not to cause me any problems. Now, that's a terrible problem to have, right? Sunlight. And Dr. Josi is in South Dakota this morning. Good
Yeah.
morning, Josi.
Good morning.
And we're going to talk about Dr. Josi this morning. So we've decided is this going to be our 50 and 51st? Or is it
It might be 49 and 50.
Okay, for either way, we're right around the 50 mark for our 0 10 podcast episodes, which we think is pretty fun. And so we decided we need to do a check-in with each other. And just, we started this podcast almost 2 years ago.
Gosh, it feels like longer than that for some
Yes.
reason,
Yeah.
that we
It was,
were messing around with cords and microphones and all the things.
yeah, gross. That was gross.
It
That
was
was
so
really
gross.
gross for me. I did not like that. But anyway, um, yeah, that was the fall of 24. So yeah, we're pushing 2 years here, as it's almost June of 26. So we decided our lives have changed a lot since then. And so yeah, so we're gonna check in with Dr. Josie this morning. And first of all, when we started the podcast, you lived in Bismarck and you had a chiropractic clinic there. Well, you lived in Mandan, technically, I suppose, right? And you had a chiropractic clinic in Bismarck,
Yes.
and you had a whole life there. And now you have a whole life in South Dakota. So tell us, maybe start, how, because it was probably right around that time that your brain started clicking, right? About selling your home and moving
Yes.
and doing something different and all the things. So let's start there.
It had to have been around that time because
Yeah.
our early episodes were in Thailand and wherever that was. I think most of them were in Thailand. Um, yeah, gosh, life, like you said, life has changed a ton. And um, I don't know, like the beginning parts of it were honestly 2 years probably before that I knew that something was going to start shifting. And of course, I don't know, I just tried to listen to it as much as I could. And it started with longer breaks. Honestly, I took longer vacations during every quarter of my work, and I decided that that was important to me and to the practice. So we would take these longer vacations, and it went from like 5 days to a full 7 days, but it was Wednesday to Wednesday, so I could work Monday, Tuesday, come back and work Thursday, Friday type of thing, right? Like it was always just kind of put into my schedule that way, and then the whole practice would take those days off as well. And it was paid time off. Like I just knew it was important. And then eventually I went on a 10-day one, and then it got to 2 weeks. And at the 2 week mark, I was quite stressed. That would have been, gosh, I was on my way to New Zealand. And at that point, I was creating online programs. And on the back end, no one really knew what I was doing. But I was trying to move a bit out of full brick and mortar and into more of an online space because of the freedom to travel a bit. And I knew it was important for me. Like it was a decision I made for me. I didn't make it for other people. I was making some decisions for me. Um, and so then, yeah, eventually I got back from New Zealand, and then we started the podcast. Pretty much it was shortly after that, and then yeah, I went on my trip. But I don't know. The transition was definitely a slower one than people probably knew about because, of course, what's going on within us in our homes and our minds and in our hearts. Like I'm not sharing that with everybody all the time, especially when I knew that it was a decision that I was going to make was going to be affecting other people, and not in a negative or a positive. It's just it was going to shift some things, and I didn't know when it was going to happen, and I didn't know if it would actually ever happen because God has different plans for us than I have. So I until it was happening, I wasn't like this is for sure happening. It was just, here are the steps that I'm making, and it feels good today, and it feels good today, and or it feels right or something. I don't. It didn't always feel good. Let's be honest. But yeah, eventually I took off on December 31st, and then I even played around with like my house. Like you mentioned that I was knew I was going to sell my house. I put my house on the market for a while. I I think before I left, I can't even remember how that all worked out.
You,
I don't even, it's so
I think
funny.
you had it. I think you had it for sale, right, for a while, and then you took it off and decided to Airbnb it.
Yes, that must have been it.
Because I
That
think
had to
when
have
you
been it. Oh
left,
yeah, because I was so
you had to.
concerned because I
Mhm.
had a friend as a realtor and I'm like, I really feel bad that like I can't let this keep going while I leave. It needs to be what it is before I leave. And that's right,
Right.
because I was gonna have to end a contract early. And I felt so bad doing that. But I didn't, yeah, again, it didn't always feel good. Those things that transition did not feel good the whole time. But I don't know if you ever have that feeling, Andy, where if you don't make the right, or if you don't follow it, like I felt like there was going to be something that was going to push me out of it anyway, and it was going to hurt a lot more. It's like that's what it felt like. I was like, I don't know what it is, but something is going to not be great if I don't keep following this, because I'm going to learn. I feel like I was going to learn a lesson either way, and I was wanting to learn these lessons over here versus the one that could have happened. I don't know. And I still don't know what it was. It was just a really major feeling like you are moving out of this, and if you don't go smooth with the ease, with the flow, like I will push you out. Like it's gonna
Yeah.
happen. Like I just
Yeah.
and that I've learned the hard way that way before, and I want to take the different route. Have you heard or read the poem about it's it's about taking a different path, but it's like you fall in this hole. You keep falling in this hole, and then the next time, um, I don't even remember how it worked. You get out of the hole faster, and then eventually, you walk around the hole, and then eventually you take a different route.
Right. Right.
So I feel like that was one of those that needed to take a different route. Like, don't be pushed out of here. Like, I have had to push you out of things before. Yeah. Nothing wrong with where I was at. That was a big thing for me as I wanted, when you want to be so understood in the decisions you make, and maybe that doesn't relate, but I want to be,
No, yeah, no, I get
and then you
it.
just over talk it. You like try to convince people that this is the right thing for you and all the things. And you were really helpful in that whole piece during that time because you were just like, I don't know, doesn't matter if they understand. It doesn't matter if they get it. And I think that's something even now that I still struggle with a little bit is like, what if they don't understand me? What if they think I'm a bad person? What if they think that I'm like selfish or entitled or whatever by making these decisions? And doesn't matter. You're so good at that. Like I need that Andy phone call if I'm feeling that way.
Well, it's funny because I was meeting with our friend Jessica Sibley yesterday, and I won't get into the context of what we were talking about because again, not everyone will understand it, which is fine. But she did say there's no one, there's literally no one on earth that we are ever going to understand them completely, and they are going to understand us completely. Because as human beings, we don't have the same experiences and the same we just don't think the same way, even if it's the person you're the closest to in the whole world and you feel like you're so close to them, right? There's still going to be pieces of each other that you don't completely understand. And you and I are a perfect example with we make a great partnership, but we don't always understand each other, and that's okay.
Yeah, right.
It's totally fine. So now most people can, some people can't have a relationship with you if they think that you don't understand them or they don't understand you. So that's I think where your hesitancy comes in, right? Is like, are they going to reject me or are they going to stop,
Yeah, totally
yes,
fear based.
because they don't understand me, which they don't need to.
They
at the
don't
end
need
of the day. They don't need to. Yeah,
right.
it's okay.
So I set off on that journey, and it was, I wanted to mention this book because, and I know you and I have talked about it, but I listened to The Untethered Soul on the flight to Hawaii, so which was my first trip.
I'm
And
pretty sure it's sitting on my counter here somewhere.
well, you're the one I think that I saw it actually on your in your office when you were at Karma
Mhm.
Vita in Bismarck, and I was like, oh, I've heard of that book, and it was, I don't know, there's something, there's like a little bit of yellow. Was there a horse on the horse
Yeah.
on it? And I'm like,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
totally like, I feel like I need to get that. And I didn't get the hard copy of the book. I just I just listened to it. But that was the start, and honest, and it was something that I'd been working on for a long time, but I was like, there are a lot of things right now that I just want to get so in tune with who I am and untethered, become untethered, right? Like just letting those things go. So it was a practice. I went on my trip and I was practicing some things the whole time. And it actually came into, or really caught my attention in Bali because I was there and I went on this hike, but I had met up with the gentleman that wanted to go on the hike too. It was like one that you needed a guide. And oh my gosh, I can't imagine if I would have done that hike by myself. Actually, I don't even think they let you do it. Um, that's another story. But anyway, this gentleman from Canada wanted to go, and he was in Bali by himself. So we met for dinner, and then we hung out for like quite a few days before we went on the hike. Actually, like, yeah, 3 days maybe. And eventually I'm like, I'm on a path of doing some other things. Like, I'm really trying to figure out who I am. I can't hang out with you. I'll see you on the hike, type of thing. Which was
Mhm.
again a something I needed to work through, right? And how to work on myself with other people around me. But it became really like, oh yeah, you're out here on a mission to do some things while you're on this trip. It's not just to like goof off type of thing. You're doing the work here. So anyway, that book was the start of that. So I would recommend it if anyone's looking to just figure out a little bit more about how to, it's like it's a physical piece, like how to like tap into your soul.
Mhm.
And I live in my head a lot, and I'm working on being down here a lot more. And it was a transition for me. And I would think it's the same. It's no different if you're living in your body a lot and you're not living in your soul, where there's both places are, it's kind of like your sensors. Your brain is like these sensors, and in your body's like these sensors, but your soul is actually what's like having to like deal with all the things that you're sensing all the time. Does that make
Yes.
sense?
Well, it's funny because Jess said this yesterday too. It's the duality of everything, right?
Yeah.
Like we want things to be one, and they're typically not because right. I'm not saying it as well as she did, but yeah, there's a duality there,
hmm Yeah.
and you
So
have to learn how to process all of it. Yeah.
in the book, and it might be Living Tethered. Singer's got two books, and the one that I'm listening to again, I've listened to him multiple times. I just I go back to him often, but he calls it entanglement. And I was like, what a great word. Like
Mhm.
these tangles, and mostly right now it's in the brain is what he's talking about, is these entanglements. In the body, I think of it as like denseness, almost more. And here, entanglement totally makes sense. For me, it reminds me of like messed up Christmas lights, like all in a ball, and you're trying to get them untangled, the
Yeah.
wires and everything. Good visual, but entangling all that to get to the purest part of yourself. And those things were what I had trouble with. I would say is like I wanted to always figure out why that they were there in the first place. And now it's like, I just want them gone. I don't really care why they're there. I feel confident in my soul to like keep moving forward. So I don't necessarily need that entanglement there anymore. It's no longer, it was a safety mechanism at some point and it kept me safe. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time, but it's time for
Yeah.
these things to go. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
So, life got really fun though, man. I honestly, and it wasn't that it wasn't fun before, but it just got a lot more like no expectations, just letting. I didn't have an agenda for a while. Like, I didn't book the next flights. I barely, once of course, I learned like you don't book a month place stay in somewhere that you don't know yet because you might not like it and there might be a better spot based off of the internet, right? Of where they say to go. So I would do that different, or I did that differently throughout the time I got to practice these things that I learned about travel. But yeah, it was great, and it really came into fruition when I made it to Spain, and then because Spain was I'd already done so much kind of work on that I was just like, now it's time to celebrate. You just went through Asia. This is like that was interesting. That was built my confidence, I'd say, and I felt really good in my skin and my body. And then Spain was just like, let's have some wine and let's play and walk the beaches and listen to fun music. I mean, just a culture, very fun, uplifting culture there. So yeah, which we've already talked about my trip quite a bit. So this probably isn't our listeners' first time hearing that, but Spain was that for me, was just a little bit of celebration. It's nice, and a lot of things just unfolded there that led me to where I'm at right now, honestly, which is pretty cool.
Like what?
Um, well, I met chiropractors over there. I've had my community for a long time, I think. Like, chiropractors just kind of stick together. And it doesn't matter where in the world you're from. Like, you're a chiropractor, like, we'll just take you in and this is what's going on. This is what we're up to. Meet us here. So that's what happened in Spain. And then I won a trip to the Dominican at a conference in Spain. And so I went on that. And then I met some docs there. One of the docs that I met in Cairo, Europe was on our podcast. Um, yeah, I don't know. Just seems like it came like full circle of just letting things flow, you know, and
Right.
how that could feel and just what kept popping up. And that was in a month's time that all this stuff like popped up. It was a very short period of time. I don't know. It was cool. And then I went and visited people, that I had met along the way. And, when a thought comes in your mind and you're like, kind of like an epiphany, but I don't know. Like I had one in Hawaii after I'd hung out with a gentleman, Cody, and he was leaving to go back home, and I was like, this is going to happen for the next 6 months. I'm going to meet these people. I'm going to really enjoy company with them, and then they're going to go on, and I'm going to go on, and we're going to, and there was some heartbreak in that, but it was like, it's okay. We're still connected. Like it was just like something I needed to learn, that it wasn't rejection, like we talked about earlier. You know what I mean? It was just like, it wasn't like this break. Like it was just is, just conversation and good conversation and healthy stuff. And when you think of that on a global level, like everywhere you go, like you don't have to be lonely, and so that was kind of a big piece of that, like trying to break through some of these old patterns. And just honestly, my best way of doing that is full immersion, but that's not everyone's best way. But I'm like, just throw me in, so like she'll figure it out type of thing, which somebody should do that and throw me in the swimming pool and make me figure out how to swim, but no one's done that yet, thank gosh.
What? You can't swim.
Yeah. And you know what? How, like, everybody I say that to, they're like, oh, I'll teach you. I'm like, you don't think I've heard that before? I have heard that for how many years? So many years. But no, I don't swim well.
It's
I
probably a really great analogy of life, right? Is you really do just have to go sink or swim. Like you just
sometimes, if you're super scared of
you'll
it,
figure
or
it out.
yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah.
if what did somebody say? Oh gosh, it's too many books are going like things like that. But it was where somebody worked for like a telemarketer, and how many no's they would get. It was a sales guy that talked about sales, I think, in a book or something. And he, if you really struggle with hearing no from people, or like that you feel inadequate or not good enough or whatever. He's like, go be a telemarketer for a while, or like someone who's collections agencies or whatever, because you're going to get that over and over and over again to not take it personal. But that would be another one, right? Like if there's something that I'm really like you're really struggling with, like breaking an old pattern of thinking or whatever, just find something that you can just throw yourself into. And if anything, I mean, it might not be financial gains or whatever, but it'll be character gains. Like you will change your brain for
Yeah.
whatever you need. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm stuck on so many things right now. The financial gains thing is so interesting to me that you say it that way because that is what motivates most people, right?
It is to an extent, and then all of a sudden it's not motivating anymore. For me, it was.
It's not at all for me. I mean,
I like
it's
making money.
I
I
do
love
too.
making money. That's,
I do
but
too. Not motivating to
it's
me.
not as motivating. No, no.
No.
There's another piece that needs to be in with it in order. Actually, I don't make the money. If I don't make the, yeah, I'll do something just because I like to do it over something to make money at. And
Yes. Yes.
I have
Agreed.
a lot of proof of that in my life right now. So, yeah.
Well, and I mean, the money follows. I'm sorry, it just does. If you
It
do what
will.
you love and you go where you're supposed to go and you do what you're supposed to do, the money just follows. So anyway, um, okay, so Spain. What happens after Spain?
So I came to, I grew up on a ranch in South Dakota. So I came home to South Dakota. Um, un, well, I hadn't, my house sold so I Airbnb'd my house out, and then we put it on the market while I was in Spain. So I was there for about a month, and then it sold within 2 days. And mind you guys, like I had tried to sell this house before I left, right? And then we barely got anyone even looking at it. Some people say it was the season. I think it was my season. I don't think it was, I mean, well,
Yeah.
but I just choose that. I choose to think that it was just the timing, on my timing, not the weather. Because it would have been winter when we were trying to sell. So, but I bought my house in winter, so I was like, I don't believe that. And anyway, so I came home to the ranch, and I had these plans. So I'd won that trip to the Dominican, so I knew I was going to be gone then. I had a trip to California that I knew I was going on, and then I knew I was going back to Spain with my friend in November. So I was like, I don't. I stayed at the ranch. I stayed at my parents' house. I stayed in their basement, and lived there. I had I don't know. I had renters up in my house for a month almost. I want to say 3 weeks, three, yeah, it must have been close to a month. I needed to be out by July 4th. So I went, and I had sold a lot of things before I left on my trip. And then I sold the rest of it practically um, when before I, yeah, sold the house within a few weeks. So that was pretty wild. And then in January, I moved to Spearfish. So now I am in Spearfish, which is in the like right as the Black Hills are starting from the north. So if you're coming down South Dakota, it's like right as things get really pine tree and foresty and pretty. They call them hills, and they are hills, but like there's hills and then there's rock hills, black
Mhm.
hills. Like there's a difference going on up here or down here from you, or not actually up here from you right now, Arizona, ups and downs. But yeah, and so spearfish is great. Spearfish is I don't know the size, Andy, actually. I feel like it's definitely smaller than
Population?
Bismarck. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. It's not large by any means, but it does take a long time to drive through it. Like it's or 15, 20 minutes to drive through Spearfish, probably 15 minutes. But it's been really neat.
Approximately 14,000 people. Is what-
14,000.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Okay. Gosh, that's actually less than I thought it would be. Um, Mainly because everywhere you go, like you have a gravel road, and then pretty soon you've got a development of homes like in the hills, like on the sides of hills, right? Like it's just really like you can explore here, and that's what I'm really excited about. As the weather's gotten warmer, I've just got in my car and drove around. I did in the winter too, but not to this extent. I didn't even like get out and go walk around a whole lot. I'd go to a lodge up there, and watch sit by the fireplace and read my book or something in middle of the day, just to go see something. But no, what the home that I'm in right now, we're in the middle, we're renovating it. We actually did a bunch of stuff yesterday. My dad came, and we pulled out bathroom vanities and things like that. So we'll be replacing those and slowly putting this together. But this house is temporary, so it's my brother's place, and I'm renting from him. And then he'll be looking to sell it in hopefully the end of the year or something. But we'll see. We'll see where he gets it with that. But I know that this is, yeah. So if I know that this is temporary, it's like, okay, use the tools that I used while I was gone to just let the next thing unfold, whatever it is. That's all I got. That's all I can do.
Because it worked for you there.
It's yeah, it's been, I mean, it will.
It works.
I was just writing, I don't know if I can't remember if it was a podcast or if I was writing or what, but I was saying that like I feel very fortunate that I have the safety of I have people around me that no matter what, I'll be okay, you
Yeah.
know? When it comes to food, shelter, you
Right.
know, and people, like that's something I feel like that's a legacy in itself of what other people have created for me. Like I'm so thankful, and I know that not everybody has that. Like I get that. But I don't know. It's just like I've lived on very little, and I lived on a lot, and I can do either one and be happy in either one. Um, I don't know. And I have a good career that it's my hands. I don't know. I'm just so grateful. Like I can seriously just walk anywhere, be anywhere, and I'll be okay in a way. Like I just got really lucky with that, and that I have to remind myself of that safety all the time. Like, okay, everything's good. You're gonna be fine. Yeah. Now I'm working with, so I still see patients. I'm still a chiropractor. I see patients in Buffalo out of my grandma's house. And my free time, I hike around. Like what I really, I like to do that. And then I like to go hike. Yoga. I love reading. I love these podcasts. I love hopping on and connecting with people. And then we're in 2026, so we get to connect with people over states
Yeah.
away,
Hmm.
countries away, continents away. Like we can like the world is our oyster. Like there's really so much you can do. Um, so yeah, I'm finding that a productive day to me is not what it used to be, and I'm really grateful for that. Granted, I still do a lot of things, but I don't have the attachment to the doing as much as I used to, like to my worth, the attachment to my worth.
Yeah.
Because turns out, just like smiling at somebody on the corner of the street, or um, sitting by somebody in church, as your stories are have mentioned, like that is so powerful, and not doesn't it's not to be made light of just because you weren't, you know, doing your career or whatever. Like your career is not your whole thing, and yeah, I don't know. I'm
Do you think that that's something that you could like, do you think that that's something you can only understand through life experience? Do you think that that's something you could ever fully understand as someone in their 20s just starting out in their career? Like I think that there probably are people that age that do understand, but I bet it's pretty rare.
Yeah. And also, though, like I wasn't as confident in my career at 20 years old as I am now. Now I can say I can set up my practice in my grandma's house and I'll be fine.
Right.
When I was 26, just out of school, I don't know if I would have had the confidence to do that. Not even just do it, but like to be able to portray like it's not about the space, it's about what we're doing right now in this moment, healing you. You're helping heal you or whatever. Like I don't so that part of just like the career, if I wouldn't have had that career that I did or like I did focus a lot on it and it wasn't about I mean it was great because I mean just think of how much you learned about the body or like what skin, like if you didn't have your years of experience, you know, what we learned about ourselves. And no, I'm super thankful for my career, and I could go back to adjusting 5 days a week if I literally wanted to. Like
Right.
I know, I don't think there's anything against having a big, audacious career per se, but I minimized what I was doing outside of it as not enough, and career was all of it. So like I feel like that's what's shifted is like there's when people say like what are your work hours? I'm like actually we're kind of working 24/7 because we're unless we're working 'cause if we're working for the right person because it's all they're really there's no different there you know I don't know you don't clock in and clock out as a servant of God in my opinion. I don't know, that's just how I'm starting to like really live. Some things
That's so,
some things are
it's so great.
transactional and some things are not, but I still don't think there's there's no difference.
No, you're right. You're so right. And I immediately thought of, have we talked about this? Are you paying attention to the Los Angeles mayoral race at all?
No,
There's
I don't
a,
even know what it is.
okay, well, there's a gentleman by the name of Spencer Pratt. Do you recognize that name?
Yeah, why do I do
He
recognize
was
it.
on the Hills, which I never watched. I'm
Oh,
not, yeah, okay. So
okay.
he's running for the mayor of Los Angeles.
Oh, cool.
And it's really interesting. It's been really interesting to watch. Um, and one of the things that he said during an interview that I couldn't, it's like you can't believe he says it, but they said, who is your, I think, I don't remember the exact question, but something like, who do you look up to and admire as a politician, or who do you emulate or whatever? Who's your favorite politician? I think they said. And he said, Jesus Christ. And I was like, why don't we live in a world that that's the correct answer? Like what you just said, like, who do you, the answer should, no, it doesn't matter who do you fill in the blank? It should always be Jesus Christ, right? It should be, that's who I work for. That's who I serve. That's who and again, not everyone's going to feel that way. And I understand that, but, I
It
love that you
takes,
said that. It's true. And I can't believe he said that in Los Angeles, California, that he said that. And people are going to vote for him
yeah,
because of that. Because, there are a lot of people in the world who feel that way, that you should be serving something other than yourself and other than the world, our world here. We should be serving a higher purpose, right?
yeah. And that gets so like here's quantum physics and all the things, right, that come to get not even just quantum physics, but it's like when I think of that and I know that when we say Jesus is inside me, God is inside me. So, right? So there's no
Right,
dimension. It's
right,
just,
right,
it's everywhere, right?
right.
And if that's the case, and you're saying like, because we have a retreat business, right? Like this is what we help people do to take care of themselves, and yet you're serving something else. But it's like you're caring for yourself, but you're serving something else to care for you. Like it's like this like weird thing that's all happening.
Yeah.
But I think as soon as I don't know, there's like this boundary thing that if you can like break through like this, the idea of work or like what work, like for me, some people don't have this, which I didn't realize, but I feel it took me a long time and I still will start doing something like especially something I don't really want to do and I'm like, oh, this is hard work, like resist, 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 just typing barely and like just get this done type of thing. And it's like, no, like you're enjoying the process. Like I have to tell myself all the time to enjoy the process because the only thing that makes something hard or resistance is you. Like you are
Mhm.
the only thing that's making it that way per se. Like it's your perception of it, right? So it's like, and I'm a sinner. I'm like, I mess things up all the time and I'm, just a work in progress. But the less that I can take like all of those things off, like the more it's just easier to just go and do your thing, whatever it is. And to not feel like, hey, I want to go paddleboarding today. And it's 2 o'clock on a Tuesday. Like I'm grateful to be able to go. If that was in my heart that I wanted to go, like I can go do it, you know? Like yes, responsibilities and fear of the Lord and respect of the Lord, like all those things are all entwined in there, but that's our soul was born by
Right.
that, right? So like of
Right.
course there's you can't be scared that you're going to do the wrong things if you're living from that space. The only way you do is when you start living from the ego in other places that you start making some, in my opinion,
Yeah.
like, but the decision you make, I mean, it's going to hurt one way or the other. Like I talked about the lessons in the beginning, right? Like, do you want to go ease into the lesson or do you want to be forced into the lesson? And I, I'm going to try to live like over here, eased into the lessons. It's interesting when you try to um, explain that to people. Like, what do you do all day? Like, and I get that all the time now. And um, I'm podcasting or I'm doing things all day long and I don't feel like I need to like what word am I looking for, Andy?
Justified
Thank you. Yes, justify my time anymore. Like
to anybody but
to
yourself.
anyone. No. No. When I
I,
get
I
the questions, it's like I don't know. I
I went through a phase where people would ask question about anything, anything, and I would say, "Don't worry about it." And it
yeah.
sounds snarky. It sounds like snarky, right? Because
Right.
sometimes people are just interested, or it sounds like I'm being smartass or whatever. But it's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry
Yeah.
about what Josie's doing with her day, or don't, it's like,
You're
just,
so good at that.
just
You
like
just
let it.
are.
Well, I mean, gosh, why do we worry about other things or other people or who cares? Like, I don't know. I don't worry about what you're doing in your day, and I'm your business partner. So probably literally the only person in your life that would maybe have a worry about what you're doing in your day. Like, I don't care what you're doing. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Do you think you were born with, or have you always
no,
been like that? Okay, what?
no,
And
no.
this, where can we, do you mind if we talk about that? Like, where did that come from for you?
Oh gosh, I should probably be a little careful about how I answer this, but I think it came from the realization that um, if you are worried about other people, right, and if you are constantly trying to control, because if you're worried about other people, more than likely you're trying to control them or control their situation or control how they affect you, right? There's probably a part of there's control in there somewhere, I would imagine. Maybe not all the time, but I think in my case, um, I just realized I looked around at some people in my life that were not healthy in their relationships, and then I had to take a hard look at myself and realize that I wasn't either. And in order to be healthy for myself and for my relationships, I had to let go. And I think I can just say let go. Doesn't matter of what, but if you're constantly worried about what someone else is doing, how do you take care of yourself? Or how do you focus on what you need to focus on and what is going to make you healthier, happier, all of the things. So I think there just came a point where I was like, you just have to let all of it go.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like when other people cared what I was doing. I didn't like what other people cared about what I was wearing, what my hair looked like, what how much money I was making, all of the things, how I was raising my children.
Mm-hmm.
It's none of anybody else's business is what it comes down to, is like I think we we live in a world that there's a misconception that if you care about other people, you have to be invested in their life and their outcome of their life. And we've talked about this in our honest entrepreneur. You have to let go of the outcome of other people,
Hmm.
right? When you're involved with them, you have to let go of expectation and outcome and all of the things. You just have to. So anyway, that I don't know. I'm not saying this very well, I don't think, but I think letting go is one of the biggest things.
Yeah. Well, and it sounds like relationships, so taking a hard look around of what was going on in your world and then realizing that you wanted to change it and you had an emotional tie to why you wanted to. And then your career, I mean, business owner, I mean, talk about that being a mirror of things, of like people
Well,
around, you
I
know.
think a lot of people too, like when I said look at relate, like I think that I had just assumed that if I was had any kind of struggles in any relationship, that it was the other person's fault. And I think letting go of that whole mindset too is like there's no one at fault, right? We're just people trying to figure things out. And I don't know, letting go seems to be the common thing. Just let go of all of these misconceptions that we have of
It's fairy
everything,
tale.
honestly, yes, letting go of all of it. Like, what should a relationship look like? What shouldn't it look like? Again, what should you wear? Who cares what you wear? Who cares what other people are wearing? There's nothing I hate more than sitting at a table full of people and someone points out what someone else looks like or someone else is wearing. It's like, why do you care? How does it affect you in any way, shape, or form? Like what Josie's doing in Spain? Why is that any of anybody else's care or concern? Except, of course, just that they may want you to enjoy your life.
Yeah.
That should be their only concern.
Yeah. And I think I had so much of that. I really did. I,
Of
I,
people wanting you to have to enjoy your life. Is that what you're
yeah.
saying? Versus judgment.
Yeah. I think probably the more of the judgment that I ever heard, and nobody's gonna say it to my face. Okay. So like there's
Really?
only there's only a couple people that would say it to my face, and it was like my friends, right? And it wasn't even bad. It was like, what the frick are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, are you good? Are we
Yeah.
like, are we
Yeah.
good?
Yeah.
And they're like, yes. Okay. Well, all right. Because I'm trying to decide what kind of friend you need me to be. Do I need to be the one that's like
Yes.
rationalizing with you on reality, or just say, you go, girl, like, wait for you to get home type thing. So I feel like I had those questions, but they asked me which one they needed to be and like that if I was okay. Others, it blew my mind. And and I get it. Like I've now, left Bismarck too, and I realized just how quickly you feel disconnected from some of the ones that you were the closest to. Like it's part of it. Whether it was emotional or actual physical, like I'm away, right? Um, there's something that happened in the practice and before I left, which was kind of the initiator of like, dude, like this is not like I knew I was going to be changing some things, and as soon as I had an insurance thing happen, and it was really it looked like my integrity was horrible, to be honest, because I was trying to move out of insurance, and I had to give them notice of 3 months that I was not going to be in network with the insurance company. So you do that, and then one of the insurance companies dropped me that day and sent a letter out to all of my patients saying that she's no longer in network when I was supposed to have 3 months to help people through that transition. But here it was. She's left insurance and she left this day, and it was people had already been seeing me for weeks, and that was none of that was going to be covered by in-network benefits. Anyway, it was like a big financial thing, it was an integrity thing, it was like all these things. And that was like the first, like, if you don't do what I'm telling you to do, like things are going to get hairy. And I was like, okay, I'm listening. But that did burn some bridges that I never intended to burn. Like it was, and those things stink. I don't even know how you come out of them other than just like apologizing, and like that's all you can really do. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, so some of those things are I don't know, lessons, I guess, that I've been trying to learn. I don't know. I don't even know where I was going with that story, to be honest, but that's the
Maybe
ending
the
of it.
maybe judgment.
Judgment, yeah,
Maybe that,
possibly. Oh,
yeah,
any yeah, so then there was like an emotional disconnect from people.
yeah,
So
yeah,
then you go on this trip and do these things, and it's, I don't know, like it's probably more of a mirror into me of like, what am I caring that other people are doing that I really don't need to care about? And then just go live your life,
yep,
which is something that I get to work on all the time.
yeah.
I really don't care. I just want people to be freaking light as a feather, dancing through the streets, or doing dancing through the fields, whatever it is that they want to do, and they're doing it with like integrity and just loving it, whatever it is, being able to be themselves. That's what I really want for people. So,
Love it. Is that a good place to end, or do we need
yeah, I mean, I
more
could
of
talk,
Josie?
me, I could talk forever. So, it's a good stopping point. It's nice to have an interviewer though. Kind of keeps
Right.
me on track because I'm like, what was I saying? I don't even know where this was going.
I think that's a great place to end.
Sounds good. So stay tuned for my interview with Andy.
No, I'm not a doctor.
I don't know why that almost came out.
Yeah,
Maybe you are.
maybe I am. Okay. Well, thank you
Okay,
so
that
much,
sounds great.
Josie, for sharing your journey, and we will hear more of your maybe another year and a half from now we'll do another journey of Josie, and who knows where you'll end up.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I feel like that was all of my past stuff. Now we didn't even talk about what's coming up in the future. So maybe that'll be a future podcast.
Yes, that's a
I
great
like
idea.
that.
It's a
Okay.
great idea.
Sounds great. All right. Bye.
Bye.